Hello, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Mark, and I'm so glad you're here with us today. Whether you're listening on your commute, at the gym, or just relaxing at home, thank you for choosing this time to improve your English with us.
Hi everyone, I'm Jessica and I'm really excited about today's episode. If you've ever felt nervous, stuck, or maybe frustrated when speaking English, you're definitely not alone. We hear this all the time from learners all over the world.
Absolutely. And today's topic is one of the most requested by our listeners: how to improve your English speaking fluency. Now, when we say fluency, we don't mean speaking perfect English. We mean being able to speak smoothly, confidently, and without freezing when you want to express your ideas.
Exactly. It's about communication, not perfection. And the great thing is, fluency is something you can train. Just like exercising your body, you can exercise your speaking skills, and the more you do it, the stronger and smoother your English becomes.
In the next 30 minutes, we'll share 5 powerful tips that you can start using today to boost your fluency. We'll also give you some practical examples and even a short practice activity you can do with us right here in the episode.
So stick around by the end. You'll have a clear action plan for speaking English more naturally and confidently.
All right, let's dive right in. Jessica, let me ask you the first big question. Why do so many learners struggle with fluency, even after years of studying English? So, Jessica, before we jump into the actual tips, let's talk about why fluency matters so much. I mean, learners spend years studying grammar and vocabulary, but when it comes time to speak, they often feel blocked. Why do you think that is?
That's such a good question, Mark. A lot of learners focus on memorizing words and grammar rules, which is important, but fluency is really about being able to use that knowledge in real time. It's like learning how to swim. You can study the strokes in a book, but until you jump into the water, you won't feel comfortable actually swimming.
That's a perfect example. I've had students tell me they understand English when they read or listen, but as soon as they try to speak, their brain feels like it's buffering, like a slow internet connection.
Exactly. And the main reasons are usually hesitation, overthinking, or translating from their native language into English. That takes too much mental energy.
Right. And then there's also fear of making mistakes or sounding silly. Honestly, I think that fear is one of the biggest barriers to fluency.
I agree. And here's the thing, mistakes are not just normal. They're actually a sign of progress. If you're speaking and making mistakes, it means you're pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. That's where fluency grows.
Yes, and fluency doesn't mean speaking super fast either. Sometimes learners think, if I speak quickly, I'll sound fluent. But fluency is more about flow, speaking smoothly, connecting your ideas, and being confident enough to keep the conversation moving.
That's right. And when you can speak fluently, you open so many doors, whether it's job opportunities, making friends around the world, or simply feeling proud of yourself when you can express your thoughts clearly.
Exactly. So, listeners, if you've ever felt stuck, if you've felt nervous about speaking English, just know that you're not alone, and it's something you can improve with the right techniques.
And that's what today is all about. We're going to walk you through 5 practical tips you can start using right away.
All right, let's get into our first tip: thinking in English. All right, Jessica, let's jump into our first fluency tip: thinking in English. This one is so powerful, but it can feel a little tricky at first.
Yeah, and the reason it's so important is because many learners translate in their head from their native language into English before they speak, and that slows everything down. Imagine your brain as a translator machine. If it has to translate every single sentence, you'll always feel one step behind in conversation.
Exactly. I like to compare it to driving a car. If you're constantly checking the instruction manual while driving, you'll never move smoothly. But once the movements become automatic, you can drive without thinking too much. Thinking in English is about training your brain to drive without the manual.
That's a great way to put it. And the good news is, you don't need long study sessions to practice this. You can do it anytime, anywhere. For example, when you're walking down the street, look around and describe what you see in English in your mind. I see a red car. The woman is talking on the phone. The sky looks cloudy today.
Yes, I tell my students, make English your inner voice. Even if it's simple sentences, it builds fluency because you're no longer translating. You're producing English directly.
And if you want to challenge yourself, try to plan your day in English. For example, after work, I'm going to cook dinner. Later, I'll watch a movie. It doesn't have to be perfect, just natural.
Another exercise I recommend is called the 1-minute talk. Pick any topic like your favorite food, your weekend plans, or even your morning routine, and speak out loud in English for 1 full minute without stopping. Don't worry about mistakes. The goal is to keep talking.
That's such a great exercise. And for our listeners, if you feel shy about speaking out loud, you can even do it when you're alone. Talk to yourself in English. It may feel funny at first, but it works.
It really does. So remember, thinking in English is like training a muscle. The more you do it, even in short moments every day, the easier speaking will become when you're in real conversations.
Exactly. So start small, be consistent, and let English become part of your daily thoughts.
All right, let's move on to our second tip. Practicing with real conversations. Okay, moving on to our second tip. Practice with real conversations. And Jessica, I think this is where many learners get stuck. They study a lot, but when it comes to actually speaking with someone, they don't get enough practice.
Yes, exactly. And the truth is, fluency is a skill you can't develop just by reading or listening. You need interaction. Think of it like learning to play guitar. You can watch videos and read music sheets, but until you actually play, your fingers won't learn the movements.
That's such a good point. And the great thing is, today, there are so many ways to find speaking opportunities. You can practice with a language exchange partner online, join a speaking club, or even use apps and AI chat tools to simulate real conversations.
Right. And if you don't have a partner available, you can role play by yourself. For example, imagine you're ordering coffee at a cafe. You could say out loud, "Hi, can I have a latte, please?" Then pretend you're the cashier and answer back, "Sure, would you like that hot or iced?"
That's actually a fun way to practice. And you can do role plays for so many situations, job interviews, travel, shopping, or even casual small talk.
Yes, and role plays are powerful because they prepare you for real-life situations. So when you face them in the real world, your brain says, "Oh, I've done this before."
Exactly. I also encourage learners to set small goals. For example, challenge yourself to have a 2-minute English conversation every day. It could be with a friend, a colleague, or even just practicing aloud. Consistency is more important than length.
That's true. And remember, conversations don't have to be complicated. Even simple exchanges like, "How are you today?" or "What did you eat for lunch?" build your fluency over time.
Yes. So, to sum up, don't just study English, use it. Find or create conversations, role-play scenarios, and make speaking a daily habit. That's how fluency develops.
Absolutely. And in our next tip, we'll share one of my favorite techniques for improving fluency, the shadowing method.
All right, Jessica. This next one is one of my favorite techniques for building fluency. Shadowing.
Yes, shadowing is so effective, but not everyone knows how to do it correctly. Basically, it's when you listen to a native speaker, maybe in a podcast, a video, or a movie, and you try to repeat what they say at almost the same time, like an echo.
Right. And the cool thing is, shadowing isn't just about repeating words. It trains your brain, your ears, and even your mouth muscles to get used to the rhythm, pronunciation, and intonation of English.
Exactly. It's like singing along to your favorite song. At first, you may not get every word right, but the more you do it, the more natural it feels.
Let's give an example. Imagine you're listening to a podcast where someone says, "I usually wake up around 7 in the morning." You would immediately repeat after them, "I usually wake up around 7 in the morning." Try to match their speed, tone, and stress.
Yes, and don't worry if you can't keep up at first. You can pause, rewind, and try again. The goal is not perfection, but practice. Over time, you'll notice that speaking feels smoother because you've trained your mouth to move like a native speaker's.
I tell my students to pick short clips, maybe 20 to 30 seconds long, and shadow them every day. For example, you could take a short scene from a TV show and repeat it until you sound confident.
That's a great strategy. And listeners, here's a tip. Choose material that you enjoy. If you like movies, use movies. If you like TED Talks, use those. When you enjoy the content, shadowing feels less like homework and more like fun.
Absolutely. And the best part is, shadowing helps with both fluency and pronunciation. It's like killing two birds with one stone.
So, if you've never tried shadowing before, start small, be patient, and make it part of your daily practice. You'll be surprised how quickly your fluency improves.
Great advice. Now, speaking of daily practice, let's talk about the importance of using phrases, not just single words, when speaking English. Okay, our next tip is all about using phrases instead of just single words. And Jessica, I think this one is a game changer for fluency.
Oh, definitely. Many learners try to build sentences word by word, and that takes a lot of mental effort. But when you learn whole phrases, what we call chunks of language, speaking becomes much faster and smoother.
Exactly. For example, instead of thinking how you say thank you politely, you can just learn the phrase, "I really appreciate it." It's ready to use, no construction required.
Right. And the great thing is, phrases are everywhere. Think about daily conversations. How's it going? That sounds great. I'm not sure about that. These are little packages of language you can pull out instantly.
Yes, and using phrases also makes you sound more natural because native speakers use them all the time.
One practical tip for our listeners: when you hear a phrase you like in a movie, podcast, or conversation, write it down in a notebook or a notes app. Then practice using it in your own sentences.
That's so powerful. And if you can master just 50 to 100 common phrases, you'll notice a huge jump in your fluency because you won't waste time building sentences word by word.
Exactly. Think in phrases, not words, and your English will flow more naturally.
Love it. Now, let's tackle something that really holds learners back: the fear of making mistakes. All right, Jessica, this last tip might be the most important one: overcoming the fear of making mistakes.
Yes, because honestly, fear is what stops so many learners from speaking. They think, what if I sound silly? What if my grammar is wrong? What if people don't understand me?
Exactly. But here's the truth. Mistakes are part of the learning process. No one becomes fluent without making them. In fact, making mistakes means you're using the language, and that's where real growth happens.
That's so true. Think about how children learn their first language. They make hundreds of mistakes, and no one laughs at them. People encourage them, and they keep improving. The same should be true for adult learners of English.
Yes, and one strategy I recommend is to record yourself speaking. At first, it might feel uncomfortable, but when you listen back, you'll notice small mistakes and also your progress over time. That's a huge confidence booster.
I love that tip. Another idea is to celebrate your wins, even small ones. Did you introduce yourself in English today? Great. Did you order food in English even if you made a mistake? Fantastic. Every little step counts toward fluency.
Exactly. And remember, most people don't care if your English isn't perfect, they just appreciate that you're trying to communicate.
Yes, so let go of the fear, embrace mistakes, and use them as stepping stones to fluency.
Well said. And speaking of practice, let's guide our listeners through a short, interactive activity to put some of these tips into action. All right, listeners, it's practice time. We've shared a lot of tips today, but now let's try a quick exercise together.
Yes, don't worry, it'll be short, fun, and something you can do wherever you are right now.
Okay, here's what we'll do. I'm going to give you a simple topic, and your job is to speak out loud about it for just 30 seconds. Ready? The topic is your favorite food.
Think about it. What's the name of the food? Why do you like it? When do you usually eat it? Use simple phrases and don't worry about mistakes. Just keep talking.
Good. Keep going. Even if you're repeating yourself, that's okay. The important part is to keep your mouth moving in English.
And time. Great job. Now, if that felt difficult, don't worry. It gets easier with practice. You can repeat this exercise every day with a new topic. Your weekend, your family, your hobbies.
Yes. And here's the secret. If you do just 1 minute of speaking every day, your fluency will improve more than if you only study grammar rules for hours.
Exactly. So remember, daily practice in small doses is powerful.
All right, let's move on to a fun segment where we bust a common myth about English fluency. All right, Jessica, it's time for a little myth busting. We get lots of questions from learners, and one of the most common is, do I need perfect grammar before I can be fluent?
Oh, I love this one. And the answer is a big, clear no. You do not need perfect grammar to be fluent.
Exactly. Fluency is about communication, not perfection. Think about it, even native speakers make grammar mistakes all the time when they talk. They forget words, they change their sentences halfway through, and they still communicate just fine.
Right. So if you're waiting until your grammar is perfect before speaking, you'll never start. Fluency grows by using the language, even with mistakes.
Yes, focus on being understood, on keeping the conversation flowing. The grammar will improve naturally over time the more you practice.
So listeners, please don't let this myth stop you. Start speaking now, even if your grammar isn't 100%. That's the real path to fluency.
Well said. And with that, let's quickly recap today's 5 tips before we wrap up. All right, listeners, let's quickly recap what we've covered today. We talked about 5 powerful tips to improve your English speaking fluency.
Yes. Tip number 1. Think in English, make English your inner voice so you don't waste time translating.
Tip number 2. Practice with real conversations, use role plays, language partners, or even talk to yourself to build speaking confidence.
Tip number 3. Shadowing. Listen and repeat what native speakers say to improve rhythm, pronunciation, and fluency.
Tip number 4. Use phrases, not just words. Learning chunks of language helps you speak smoothly and naturally.
And tip number 5. Overcome the fear of mistakes are part of learning. Speak, make errors, and grow from them.
Exactly. And remember our short practice activity. Just a minute a day of speaking about a simple topic can make a huge difference over time.
So, the key takeaways today: practice consistently, focus on communication, use phrases, and don't let fear stop you. Fluency is a journey, and every small step counts.
Absolutely. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and celebrate every little progress you make. Well, that wraps up today's episode on how to improve your English speaking fluency. Jessica, any final words for our listeners?
Just this: fluency is not about perfection, it's about practice, persistence, and having fun with English. Keep speaking every day, even for a few minutes, and you'll see progress faster than you think.
Absolutely. And listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the English Learning Podcast so you never miss a tip.
Yes, and share this episode with your friends who are learning English too. The more you practice together, the more fun it becomes.
Also, we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment or send us a message about your favorite tip from today's episode, or tell us what you struggle with the most when speaking English.
And stay tuned for our next episode. We'll be diving into some advanced speaking strategies to take your English to the next level.
Thanks so much for joining us today, everyone. Keep practicing, stay confident, and remember every word you speak brings you closer to fluency.
See you next time.